What's up guys, welcome back! As some of you may know, I'm on vacation this week. I'll be out of town between Wednesday and Sunday, so the upload schedule on YouTube is gonna be a little whack. Now, I was able to record this before I left and put it together so that I could share something with you while I was out. Today we're gonna be looking at the first part of my Saint Seiya collection. Now, it's the first part because it's the only one that's displayed at the moment. Everything else is boxed up, so I'll need some time to pull it out and organize it so I can share it with you guys. Today we're gonna be looking at the original figure line from the 80s. Some of them are original releases and some of them are re-releases that came out later in the early 2000s. I've had these guys for a very long time. This collection is my pride and joy, so it's always displayed at home, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. And here we are. This is my display case for the classic figures. I have this in my bedroom kind of like because I don't have anywhere else to put it in the house, to be honest. I've had the display case for maybe 10 years, though the collecting of the figures started much before that. These guys, some of them have been with me for probably close to 20 years. A lot of them have been replaced with newer versions because they were pretty damaged or just old or the paint was chipping. So this is just a quick overview. I'm gonna pop the case open and we're gonna go over, you know, some of the cool details, things that I consider cool about this collection. Let me see if I can pop this open without having everybody in here collapse. Be ever so delicate with these figures. A lot of them don't balance too well. They have weak joints at this point in their life. They're old, so they're starting to get a little bit flimsy though. They have been sitting here unmoved for a very long time. You know, I don't really take them out anymore. I used to play with them when I was a kid, but not really anymore. They just kind of sit here. So they preserve a little bit better. So as I was saying, some of these have been around for a very long time. They are the original either 1987 or 1988 release. Just like Iki over here, for example. This guy is an OG. I've had this guy, I probably bought this guy in like 1995. My dad got him for me on a trip. And he's one of the few OGs left. A lot of the other ones have been replaced because they've gotten kind of crappy. But this guy is still the original. Let's see if we can see it. Down here on their foot, they have the Bandai logo. This guy, I guess, is a 1988 production. Let's put him back in there. Some of the other ones, like for example, Dragon, you can tell his armor is really nice and shiny. He is of the newer release. There was a re-release of the figures sometime, I think it was around 2005. They remade the figures and they re-released them at a much lower price range because if you try to get some of these OGs on eBay is the easiest way to get them, you're going to be paying over $100 for each one of them. The original 1987, 1988 release. If it's a bit dusty in here, please forgive me. It takes an ungodly amount of time to take all of these guys out and clean them, but I try to do that at least twice a year. I'll take them out, dust them off, and then put them back in. Some of the deterioration you can see on the figures is, for example, Shun. His clothing under his armor is not supposed to be that color. It was white at one point, now it's just like this ugly yellow. The details on the paint, you know, the metal parts start to show a little bit of rust. The plastic parts can show a little bit of peeling on the old ones. Some of them didn't exist in the original release. For example, Jabu was not around, Misty was not around, and Agol were not produced back in the day. So those are definitely the 2005 version, as are the Black Saints. The Black Saints back in the day, you could only get them through some crazy special mail order. So there's very few of them out there to buy, and if you do find one, you're gonna pay over $1,000 for each one of them. So those are 2005 re-release. So are all the Gold Saints. My Gold Saints, the originals, were in pretty bad shape. They're now boxed up in their original boxes. So these are all re-releases, the 2005 version. The Pope is kind of lazy. He likes to lounge over to one side. If you notice, he's kind of taking a nap right now. He always does that. No matter how many times I straighten him, he always ends up like falling asleep. He's probably just old. Down here we have the Poseidon Saints and some of the other ones that weren't released in the 80s, like the Hades characters. I'm not sure if Marina and Shaina were available. I think they weren't. But definitely the Marinas were. Thetis, you know, the pink girl was, and Poseidon was as well. And Poseidon has a little buddy turtle that he likes to hang out with down there, and he comes with a pedestal. The original version came with a pedestal as well. A lot of these, I think I have a couple of the originals still displayed. The other ones are boxed up, and the ones that are out here right now, most of them are probably going to be the re-release because you notice the paint is really nice and shiny. Except Mr. Siren over here, he suffers from arthritis. He has some joint problems in his feet, so if I don't put that little piece of foam there, he will just fall forward and then knock out whoever's in front of him. So I had to do that to give him some more stability. Down here, we have some other interesting ones, like the Steel Saints are all the way in the back over there. Those are the 2005 re-release because the original versions were incredibly expensive. Now, unfortunately, that re-release does suffer from some really bad paint problems. The quality of the paint used in the originals was much, much better. Let me show you what I mean. This guy, this is one of the last ones that I rebought. I repurchased this one. This is an original 1987 release, and you can see that the armor on him is in perfect shape. You know, there's no peeling, there's no cracking, no anything. This guy has been around for 30 something. He's dusty. Sorry, I didn't clean them because I'm doing this last minute. He's dusty, but his armor is in perfect shape. Now let me show you what a 2005 re-release, especially of the Odin Saints. The Odin ones, the Asgard Saints suffered major paint problem. Look at this poor guy. Look at the shape his paint is in. All of the plastic parts, the paint just kind of dries up, cracks, and then falls off. So this guy, I've been trying to get him to rebuy him in the original version, but I haven't been able to find one at a decent price. It's just extremely expensive, and it's not something that I want to. I just can't justify that expense right now. So the original versions, even though they've been around for like 30 years, they actually have much better paint. Mime as well. This guy is an OG, one of the latest, the last ones that I purchased as well, and his paint is perfect. Whereas Odin, who is a 2005 re-release, you can see where his paint in the plastic parts, it's peeling, coming off, it's really crappy. This Odin Armor I've had for a very long time as well. I bought that. That's probably like the Chinese version knockoff. It's not the original. The original Odin Armor is insanely expensive, so I don't have that one. This is a Chinese knockoff, but even that, the paint quality, even though I've had it for much, much longer, the paint quality is actually better than the 2005 re-release. Some of the other Asgard Saints don't suffer from that many paint problems. It's just some of the colors they couldn't get right. We also have the Gold Saints when they come back in the Hades arc. I can't remember what they're called right now, but the ones where they're bad and they come back with the dark armor. You have Shion with the Kamui, was it? Maybe? No, I can't remember what the heck they were called. But anyway, those guys are back there as well. I really like the dragon with the two heads and the big wings. He's one of my favorite. He looks really, really cool. And then Paul, which is insanely dusty right now, but he was also one of my favorite Asgard Saints. One interesting fact about the 2005 re-release is that they actually used the exact same molds they used for the original version. Even though I bought these in 2005, if we look here on their feet, I hope this can focus, I'm not sure if it's going to, but it actually says Bandai 1987, which is a total lie. This Leo is not an OG from 87. This is a re-release, but they use the exact same molds down to the year printed on their feet. In the gold, we also have another one of my favorite figures. I love him in the series, but in the figures, he's even cooler because he has all of the weapons, and it's just so cool how you can set him up on him. He's got the shields, he's got the spears, he's got the trident, he's got the nunchucks hanging, he's got everything. He's got the swords right here in the back of his feet, you see that? All 12 weapons are represented on this figure, which is really, really cool. Well, I guess not. He should have 2 tridents, right? So there's 1 trident missing. I think he has 11 weapons. One of my favorite parts of the collection is actually not even one of the saints, is this Athena statue. I was able to buy this in Athens back in the year 2000. I got the chance to travel the world a little bit, and I made my way to Athens, and I picked this lady up from just a street vendor somewhere. As we were walking around, I saw it, and immediately I fell in love with Athena. It's, you know, it matches exactly the statue that we see in the series. She's still in really good shape. I bought this in the year 2000, so she's been with me for almost 20 years. And a really cool detail about this one that made me fall with it immediately and I had to buy it is that the manufacturer or the sculptor or whoever made this, their trademark, their brand or whatever is actually Pegasus. And there is a little Pegasus branded back here on the Athena statue. The second I saw that, I was like, okay, this is the one for me. I already had some of the toys, so I knew where she was gonna go in the collection. Let me put her up here. I'll put her back in there in a little bit. But yeah, I love this statue, and I've been looking for versions of this statue online, and I have not found one of this quality. The detail on it is really, really, really cool. She's yellowed. She used to be pure white. She's yellowed over the years, but other than that, she's in really good shape. I also bought these 2 posters while I was there, and they've been traveling around the world with me ever since, moving from house to house. I actually bought these at the locations. I was in Athens, I was in the Acropolis, I was at the Temple of Athena, and then I traveled to Cape Sunion, and this is Poseidon's temple. The one, this cliff right here that you see, let me see if I can get my finger in there. That cliff is a really big drop-off, and that's where Canon was prisoner, right? That's where Saga put Canon prisoner, at the bottom of that Cape Sunion. This is the exact location. So when I saw the poster, I was like, I must have this in my collection right now. And that's it as far as the original line of figures is concerned. I have duplicates of almost all of them. They're in storage, and I don't know why I keep them in storage, why I never got rid of them, why I never sold them. I just like to have the duplicates of the original release. One thing that I forgot to mention as I was recording is that all of the armor pieces on each of the figures is removable, and they all come with a stand where you can assemble the actual armor without the figure. Here we have Libra, which is one of the most interesting ones. This was the original box that they came in. This is the French version, but they all look pretty similar. The only thing that changed was the wording. And here you can see on the right what the armor looks like when it's assembled without the little action figure. This was an incredible detail. Back in, I'm talking 1980s, man. The detail on these things and just the complexity of them was amazing. That's what made them so ridiculously expensive when they came out, and why I have so few of the original 1980 release versions still displayed. They're safe and sound back inside their boxes, awaiting some future, maybe one day I'll become a millionaire by selling them, I don't know. And that's gonna be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments if you ever owned any of these figures, who your favorites were, if you used to play with them, or if you just collected them. I'd love to hear your stories about them. We'll be going back to our regular upload schedule starting on Monday when I'm back from vacation, so I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Bye!